Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 picks for the month of March. So some key fragrance notes for this month for me are going to be mint, moss, soapy accords, and lavender. So aromatic fougères, that kind of thing is something that I like to reach for right here as the weather's breaking and we're getting out of the cold months of winter and moving into the warmth of spring. I don't know if you can hear behind me, the birds are chirping and spring is kind of coming out in full effect. The sun's breaking out over the clouds over here to my left. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into this list here, starting off with, there's actually 11 in this list. I've got this one honorable mention here, and that is Patrick from Fragrances of Ireland. So this is a fragrance you can't really get at discounters. You have to buy directly from the seller, Fragrances of Ireland. Go check them out. You can get this for $40 even, and if you can find any coupon codes, you can mitigate the cost of shipping and move this down into cheapy range. This is a beautiful Irish Spring soap smelling fragrance. It's got a few older style fragrance notes like carnation and oak moss in here. I think they might even be able to use real oak moss. I don't know if they're IFRA compliant or not, but incredible fragrance. It's not old school or dated in any sense. It does smell really modern. I think it came out in the 90s, but it's just got a slight sweetness to it too, so it's like a creamy Irish Spring soap. Obviously, you know, I think this is great for the month of March. It plays really well in with the St. Patty's Day that comes in the middle of the month here. Awesome kind of hidden gem. Definitely check this one out if you haven't heard of it before. That's our honorable mention for the list, Patrick from Fragrances of Ireland. Number 10 on this list is going to be another somewhat of a hidden gem. I've spoken about this one a few times on the channel. This is Dunhill Edition. So this is really nice kind of, it's not dated, came out in the 80s. It's got some, again, older notes like carnation and oak moss, but then it's also got some geranium that gives it a slight minty quality. And then there's some nutmeg in here that gives it a nice spiciness, and then some beautiful citruses as well. So this one, yeah, like I said, it's like kind of like a sweet, creamy, minty. Balsam fir is another one of the key players in here, so you get that sort of green, outdoorsy tree feeling from this one. Goes extremely well in the springtime in this weather that I've kind of got going on with me here. Plays beautifully in that transitional period. Longevity on this one isn't the greatest. I get like somewhere around 4 to 6 on a good day with this one, but definitely worth checking out, and it's a cheapie. Sometimes you can find this one for right around $20, so keep your eye out for this Dunhill Edition, number 10. Number 9 spot is going to Aqua de Colonia Intense Awakening Woods of Scandinavia. I think Joma Shop generally has the best price on this one. I think Fragrance Net lowered their price, so you can get it from both of them for under $40 now. Geza Schoen is the perfumer behind this one, the same guy that launched the Molecule 01 line. Beautiful balsam fir centric fragrance, but then it's got a nice jammy rose that kind of sweetens it up a bit. And then juicy bergamot is also one of the main players here. Kind of has a little bit of a Terre d'Hermès style DNA to it, but replaces that dirty orange with a juicy bergamot. Really incredible fragrance. It's an eau de cologne concentration, so it doesn't last the longest. I actually get about 6 to 7 hours on my skin, but it's really close to the skin in a skin scent after about 1 to 2 hours. So luckily you get 170 mLs out of this bottle, so you can carry it with you and reapply whenever you need to. And then this is also a fragrance that I like to put in the refrigerator to add a little bit of extra briskness to it when I'm spraying it on. Awesome for the springtime. Definitely check this one out if you haven't. Aqua de Colonia Awakening Woods of Scandinavia. Okay, moving on. Number 8 spot. Done a full review on this one. This is from the house of Lalique Linsum, which translates to the rebellious. This is a beautiful kind of barbershop shaving cream style fragrance with a unique rum note added. The rum is very light, so it's not overtly boozy of a fragrance, but you do get that nice shaving cream vibe. There's some basil in here that adds this kind of sour sharpness as well that makes it a little bit unique. It's almost like a basil mojito is a good way to think of this one. Beautiful fragrance. Obviously I enjoy it quite a bit. The juice level is very telling of how much I like to wear this one. Also a cheapie. You can find this one for right around like $30. I think Testers, I got mine for like 25 bucks, and it did come with a cap. Lalique rarely disappoints, so check this one out if you have it. Linsum from Lalique. Okay, moving on. So that was number 8. Number 7 spot is going to Versace Eros Parfum. Tried and true DNA, vanilla, mint. I think maybe even the Parfum might not actually have mint and replaces it with geranium. It's hard to tell. Fragrantica and Parfumo have different note listings on this one, but it keeps that Versace Eros DNA and makes it a little bit more mature. It's not quite as ambroxan heavy and attention seeking, and it doesn't have quite as big of like a obnoxious scent cloud, but it still is a really good projector, and it's just got that really nice aromatic quality while keeping that sweetness from like the amber and vanilla and those types of notes in here. That makes it play really well in that transitional period, tailing off the end of winter. One of my top picks for the month of March, Versace Eros Parfum. Number 6 spot, we're giving to Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. So if you know the Givenchy Gentleman line, it's an iris-based line, so it kind of riffed off of Dior Homme Intense, but they do add some nice little twists to that DNA. This one in particular is a little bit fresh. I've never smelled Dior Homme O, I think is what it is. Kind of looked the same colored bottle, that light blue. So I haven't smelled that fragrance, but I hear this one's comparable to that. This has that kind of sweet iris, but it's freshened up with a basil note. So it's got some aromatic touches, and it makes it really a little bit more of a green fragrance, like a green iris fragrance per se. So it still has that nice sweetness to carry it through the cold when the weather is still like hanging out around like the 30 to 40 degree Fahrenheit in the beginning of March here. But that basil adds a nice green aromatic touch that really makes it perfect for springtime, in my opinion. So that is the number 6 spot, Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. All right, moving into the top 5. Number 5 is going to be Prada Amber Pour Homme. Rarely see this one talked about as much anymore. Got a little bit of a dent in there. Might have to get a backup bottle because I really do love this fragrance quite a bit. Classic Prada Soapy Accord, and then there's saffron is one of the other main players, saffron and myrrh. So those two fragrance notes, kind of you usually see those in those like oud rose combo fragrances. So this plays really well at the tail end of the winter and moving into the springtime. So it does really well in the cold. But then the Soapy Accord, that is the composite of all the notes in here, really makes it just beautiful, perfect for springtime as well. Could be a signature scent. One of Prada's best, in my opinion. It's a shame this one isn't talked about as much anymore. I don't know if it's been discontinued. I know you used to be able to get this for pretty cheap, but it's going for right around like 80 bucks for 100 ml these days. Still well worth that price, in my opinion. Awesome juice color as well, pretty unique. So that's number 5, Prada Amber Pour Homme. Okay, number 4 spot. This is getting kind of difficult here. I think I'm going to give that one, though, over to, let's go Tom Ford's Beau de Jour for the number 4 spot. One of my favorite fragrances of all time. The only reason it's not higher up in the list is because it does have a little bit of an old school vibe, so it's not going to work for everybody. I think you do have to be a little bit more mature to pull this one off. It does, even like my dad, when I asked him to smell this one because I was considering gifting him one, he said it smelled a little bit too dated for him, and he's about to turn 60. But one of the best lavenders that I've ever put my nose on. It's just got such a nice green, creamy lavender. Definitely worth at least getting your nose on. You should check it out at your like local Sephora or Macy's or something like that, because like I said, one of my top favorite fragrances of all time. Awesome, awesome barbershop fragrance, Tom Ford's Beau de Jour. Okay, top 3 I think we're at. We're going to go ahead and give the number 3 spot to Dior Sauvage Elixir. Lavender heavy fragrance, a unique licorice note, and then some cinnamon and some nice spices in here to kind of give it that spicy, aromatic kind of vibe. Don't need to go too much into detail about this one. It holds on a little bit to a remnant of the original Sauvage DNA, but makes it a lot more just unique, interesting, huge compliment getter, probably the number 1 most complimented fragrance in my collection. Definitely worth getting this one, I think. Probably, you know, at least to get your nose on it. But I think if you were just gonna, you know, if you're not really into fragrances all that much and you were thinking about getting one, go check this one out, because it's mass appealing, compliment getting, long lasting, and unique scent profile, and it's just like a beautiful lavender fragrance. So that is number 3, Dior Sauvage Elixir. Okay, top 2. The number 2 spot is a niche fragrance. I got mine for right around 150 bucks. I believe they still are using real oak moss and are in defiance of the IFRA banning of the fragrance note. I don't know if they changed that since they launched, but I know that's how it used to be, and that is Mousse Illuminée from Rogue Perfumery. So it translates to illuminated moss, and that's really what you get here. It's definitely got like some floral components, a really nice you know, green cypress that comes out in the opening alongside of that oak moss accord. Just an awesome, creamy sort of green oak moss fragrance. It definitely has a little bit of like an old school appeal, but I don't think it's dated or anything. I think retro is probably like the best term to describe this fragrance. Just one of the most enjoyable fragrances for me, because I do have a little bit of a taste for that more green kind of mature style fragrance. But definitely get a sample of this one. I think you can get them at Lucky Scents. It's worth getting your nose on. And then also in the air, it kind of gives me a little bit of like a lemon lime soda, like a Sprite or something. It doesn't have a fizzy quality like that kind of soda, but it just has a certain brightness like a lemon lime kind of appeal to it, even though there's not any citruses in here. But definitely awesome fragrance for the month of March. That is Mousse Illuminée from Rouge Perfumery. And then moving into the number 1 spot, probably no surprise here. I think it is a darling of the month of March. It is Green Irish Tweed. Now, I have one of the newer formulations. I have never gotten my nose on one of the, you know, batches from like 2018 or before, like when Creed was not watering down their stuff. But even though this is a newer formulation, I still get a good like 4 to 5 hours longevity out of this one. I do think this is better quality than Armaf's Très Nuit. I owned that fragrance first, and it kind of gave me a headache. It was a little bit too synthetic, but this has like an incredible natural appeal. There's like a lemon verbena in here that gives it a little bit of a minty quality, and then violet and iris kind of gives it a little bit of an ozonic and powdery touch, and some sandalwood I think is in here as well. But overall, the composite of all the notes just gives off an incredibly green Irish Spring soap kind of feel. Rolling hills, that kind of imagery is what comes to mind here. Can't go wrong in the month of March with Green Irish Tweed. That's my number 1 pick for the month. And so let me know in the comments section below what kind of fragrances you're going to be reaching for in your collection this month. And I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.